Good good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm audible. Okay. Uh, I welcome you all to this session on endurance training and sports sciences. And as already given in my soundbite yesterday, I'm Colonel Anup Krishnan. I'm a sports medicine specialist for the Indian Army, and I've been practicing for the last 13 years. So, I will be speaking about endurance training and sports sciences. My topic or my talk will cover the following. I'll be speaking upon definition of endurance training, the role of sports sciences, the testing methods, direct and indirect methods of performance, muscle imbalances, body composition analysis, blood biochemistry, and newer testing modalities. So, to begin with, we will start with the definition of endurance training. I welcome you all to this session on endurance training and sports sciences. And as already given in my soundbite yesterday, I'm Colonel Anup Krishnan. I'm a sports medicine specialist for the Indian Army, and so endurance training is defined as a training session where the heart rate rises to 40 to 60% of maximum heart rate, and any training in which muscle fibers are recruited at lower levels of exercise intensity for a prolonged period of time. If you have any session or any event where these two criteria are met, it is defined as an endurance training event. What is the role of sports sciences? In sports training, the role of sports sciences is to identify strengths and weaknesses of an athlete. We can utilize sports sciences to evaluate the effectiveness of a training program. We can utilize sports sciences to measure fitness levels after any injury or off season. We can suggest training modifications with sports sciences. Events of like marathon, walk, cycling, swimming, etc. We can do race predictions. Any person who comes out of a high performance training program comes out with highly improved psychological motivation. We can use sports sciences for talent identification and for discipline allotment. Anybody who's starting in sports for the first time, or for a very new person who comes into sports, he comes to you, parents come to you and tell you, what sport will my child be able to play well? So if you have a well designed test battery, you can do a talent identification battery and you can give them a discipline to be allocated. How do you do your performance evaluations, or what do you do your performance evaluations for? Your performance evaluations are done firstly to evaluate the baseline fitness of the athlete or the individual who's going to go into the training program. Before he starts any training session, we have to do a baseline pre-training testing. Any endurance athlete, before he starts any session, has to be tested with a training program which is designed for the endurance athletes. You may have to test power athletes. In that case, the training program and the testing program will both be different. You may have to evaluate if an athlete has recovered completely after his previous training session or after his previous competition. If that is so, it can be done by your physiological testing. You may like to know what fuel your athlete is burning at what time during the race, whether he is burning carbohydrate, whether he is burning fat, whether he is burning a mixture of both, and how long can he continue to burn this fuel, and how long can he continue to perform at this pace. If that has to be checked, only performance evaluation can give you a fuel analysis. You may also need to do race predictions from before the race to enable you and your coach to know what time is the athlete likely to come in at the end of the race. Number one. The other point is, if you have 4 or 5 athletes with similar fitness and performance levels, you may like to do a race prediction to find out who is likely to come out or who should be selected for the event. Any endurance athlete, before he starts any session, has to be tested with a training. Okay, so how do you select your tests? Your tests for the athlete are based on a few criteria. Number one, the test should be specific, by which I mean, if you are testing a particular motor quality, your test should be specific to that particular motor quality. If you are testing speed, for example, the test which you choose has to be specifically designed for that particular motor quality. The test which you choose should be reliable, by which I mean the results should be reproducible. If 2 people do the same test at the same time, provided they are doing it correctly, the result should be reproducible. The test should be valid, and the test should be done in an accurate manner. Provided you can do all these, your testing battery is generally going to be proper. There are different types of tests which are available. They are called lab tests, which is done in a controlled environment in the laboratory, and you may have something called a field test. The two photographs, the photograph on top is a lab test and the photograph on the bottom is a field test. Tests may be a maximal test, wherein you will be taking the athlete to the maximum, or the test may be a submaximal test, wherein you will not take the athlete to his maximum. By maximum, I mean his maximum potential or maximum exercise intensity. In terms of exercise intensity, it will be more or near 100% of exercise intensity. There are certain factors which affects these tests. One is the time of the day, second, weather conditions, third, the environment, the surface, the noise, the people around. Four is who is doing the test. If a person who is doing the test is senior to the athlete, then the athlete generally performs better. If a person is in an authority position, the athlete performs better. What is the athlete's emotional status? How is the athlete's health? How is the athlete's hydration? All these factors are going to affect the test. When did the athlete have his last meal? Is the athlete on any medication? What is the training status of the athlete? Is he coming off an off season? Has he been training regularly? And what is his pre-test recovery status? We will start with the basic test which we all do and which we all know. It is called VO2 max. Now, when we talk about VO2 max in terms of an athlete, what are we talking about? VO2 max is a simple measure of how your body is taking in oxygen, diffusing the oxygen into your blood and the body tissues, and how efficiently your body is consuming and utilizing that oxygen for producing aerobic energy. VO2 max is considered to be the best measure of cardiorespiratory fitness. Why is it important? Now, if you look at this graph, if you look at oxygen uptake versus exercise power, the graph of a VO2 max of a sedentary individual is somewhere around 25 ml per kg per minute. Untrained individual is somewhere around 45 ml per kg per minute. A trained individual is somewhere around 55, and an athlete, a well-trained athlete, may go up to 85 ml per kg per minute. Now, VO2 max is the gold standard. There is a gold standard for VO2 max testing, and it is called breath by breath analyzer. Now, there are certain important features for which okay, there are certain important